Okay, Tony? Tony? About to.
Good morning. My name is Paula Fisher, and I am the worship associate today, and Reverend Judy Campbell is our minister today. And before the service begins, there are a few announcements. Next Sunday, April 28th at 12 p.m. in the Beal House, free estate planning essentials workshop will take place with attorney Ashley Evers. This is open to the community, so bring friends, check the newsletter for details. And again, I stress, it's free. Want to learn more about being a worship associate? We're a very clever bunch of people. I know you'd enjoy. Join Reverend Emily and Joan Thompson-Stein, who is the chair of the worship committee, Sunday, May 5th, which is also Music Sunday, so following Music Sunday, right after the service, here in the Meeting House. See Joan or the newsletter for more information. On Saturday, June 8th, Beth Kelly will be leading a tour of the historic Unitarian Memorial Church in Fairhaven, Mass. We will learn about the architecture, the architects, and the benefactor family that built so many public buildings in the Fairhaven community. If you're interested in going, please sign up at Info Island, and for those of you who may be new, across the street when we go for coffee hour, there's an Info Island with sign-up sheets. There is a $25 fee per person, and the proceeds will be split equally between the Fairhaven Church and our First Parish Church here. More info will be running in the weekly newsletter. Welcome to this loving community. Come in, bringing all who you are. We gather in worship, our hearts alive with hope that here we will truly be seen. Turn down the volume of your fears and loosen the armor around your heart. May we root ourselves in the values of this faith: acceptance and encouragement, compassion and transcendence, justice and transformation.
Good morning, everybody. I am Reverend Judy. I'm going to put you to work this morning for our opening words. I'd like to read responsively number 436 in your gray hymnal. And what I'd like you to do, please, is stand up and face each other and say these words to each other. Paula, will you lead the, after you light the chalice, would you lead the, do you have it? 436. You lead the italics, which will be on this side, and I will lead the big print. Okay? We come to this time and this place to renew our faith in the holiness, goodness, and beauty of life,
to reaffirm the way of the open mind and full heart,
to rekindle the flame of memory and hope, and
to reclaim the vision of an earth made fair with all her people one.
don't bother sitting down. As long as you have your hymnal, would you open it to number 361, please? Paula, would you light our chalice? Leave it in there. There we go. Tony. Tony, you rocked that one right out, and I love it. No one in the world can transpose like Tony Carlin. I just want, in case you haven't seen that, you are a, now he's blushing. I totally love you, sir. You do a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Quiet, Lil. When we give of our treasure, we affirm that which we are giving to. Your gifts help the work of this church here, across the street, and so much more in the wider community. We are the ripple in the pond that keeps spreading out. absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
The reading today is by Bernard Goldman, a PhD, called Overcoming Destructive Anger, from Psychology Today. What constitutes healthy anger? When we get angry, we usually direct our attention outward on the person or situation that contributes to our anger. In this way, being caught up in the whirlwind of anger diminishes awareness of our bodies and the inherent tension associated with anger, feelings of threat and other negative feelings that precede it. Such moments are absent of reflection. By contrast, healthy anger demands reflection, the capacity to pause and assess whether the threat we feel is real and imminent, to determine the urgency of the situation, and to respond appropriately and constructively. Throughout the years of my work as a helping professional, I have come to observe the very positive aspects of anger and to define specific skills that are essential for the practice of healthy anger. These include the following. 1, healthy anger means observing and experiencing anger without being overwhelmed by it and reacting to it. Healthy anger means recognizing our anger as a signal to explore the feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations that precede it. Healthy anger means viewing anger as a signal to direct our attention inward, to identify our core desires, needs, and values. Healthy anger calls for developing self-compassion, which includes skills to enhance our sense of safety and connection. Healthy anger includes developing strategies to let go of anger, which may include forgiving others and yourself. Healthy anger encompasses compassionate practices that don't cause suffering for others or for ourselves. Healthy anger means learning how to communicate assertively with others. Healthy anger enhances our resilience and overall well-being.
There was an ant up here. I just sent him on a little airplane ride. He was walking. Thought I was seeing things. Get mad. Get good and mad. Many years ago, in the mountains of Tibet, 2 monks, one young and new to monastic life, and the other much older and well-seasoned, were walking beside a river that was swollen and turbulent from the spring rains. The beauty of it and the sound of its raw power filled them with wonder and appreciation for the majesty of nature. As they walked, discussing the morning's lesson, they came upon a beautiful woman standing and weeping at the edge of the rushing river. The older monk stopped and asked if he could help. Through her tears, she said she had to cross the river for her dying mother, and she couldn't swim. "Climb on my back," said the old monk, "and I will carry you across. Even though I am old, I'm still a strong swimmer." He took off his outer robes, and the woman tied up her skirts, climbed onto his back, and put her arms around his broad chest. The water was cold, and the current was very powerful, but they made it across. The woman thanked him from the bottom of her heart and set off to tend her mother. When he came back, he rejoined the younger monk, and the two resumed their walk. As they continued along, the older man became aware of the dark silence that had come between them. The normally talkative young man now said nothing and only kicked at stones along the path. When it was time for their midday meal, they sat down under a tree and held out their begging bowls in hopes of food. There, the old man finally broke the heavy silence. "Is there something troubling your heart, my son? Ever since I carried the woman across the river, you have been silent, and there are deep lines across your forehead and around your mouth. What is the cause of the anger I see in your face, and I can feel in the way you are sucking in your breath and blowing it out?" The younger man turned to the older man and snarled, "How can you ask why I am angry? You have taken a vow of celibacy. Monks are not even supposed to look at a woman, lest we be tempted. You not only looked at her, you carried her, let her wrap her arms and legs around you. You swam with her, pressed against your back. Once I admired you for your deep and pure spirit, but you have deceived me. You are nothing but a liar and a charlatan." The old man waited, leaning back against the tree and holding his wooden bowl with easy hands, until the younger man had spat out all of his venom before saying, "My son, I set the woman down and left her on the other side of the river. I fear that you are still carrying her." How many of us have carried or are still carrying an anger that we need to be rid of? Intellectually, we know it's hurting no one but ourselves, but we let it grind away instead of letting it go. But can we really let go of anger? I say yes, but only if we really want to. I'm reminded of the Unitarian light bulb joke. How many Unitarian Universalists does it take to change a light bulb? Only one, but the light bulb really has to want to change. If you want to get rid of anger, you can. The first thing you need to do is unpack your anger, acknowledge it, and do it justice. Do anger justice? What did this woman just say? Haven't most of us been taught to turn the other cheek, suck it up, don't ever let them see you sweat? We've been given such mixed messages about anger. Good girls don't get mad, or less lovely, don't get mad, get even. How about the opposite? I just hate confrontation. So if I don't talk about it, it'll go away. And then what happens then? Migraine, indigestion, anxiety attacks, worse. Well, the truth is, people do get angry. Animals get angry. Did you ever see a mad dog or a cat? Sure you have. Anger is a normal human emotion, but hanging on to unresolved anger is emotionally and spiritually and physically draining, and it can be spiritually toxic. I believe we can decide how and where to use our anger, and I'd like to demonstrate that on a very big level. I'm going to start by telling a story, another story. How many have been to Ferry Beach? Years ago, I did a lot of work at Ferry Beach, and years ago, when my kids were little, I was living in one of the residences, and the washer and the dryer for the entire community was in the kitchen of the building I lived in. And the dryer was really breathing its last. It was in tough shape. But one day, I was in the kitchen and a woman came in with a basket of laundry. She was working at this summer camp doing, I forget what probably in the kitchen or something. Everybody knew her, everybody loved Leppy. Well, on the back door leading into the kitchen, there was a loose board on the steps and everybody tripped on it. Well, Leppy came in, couldn't quite see where she was going with a basket of laundry, hit the loose board and catapulted into the kitchen. Laundry everywhere, and she's sitting on the floor in the middle of it. Because it was funny. But it was also, thank God she wasn't hurt, but it was just like, and she sat there. First she laughed, and then she started drumming her feet on the floor, pounding her fists on the floor beside her, and yelling, "I am so mad. I am so mad. Oh, boy, am I mad. I am so mad." And then she got up, stuffed her laundry in the washing machine, and stormed out of the kitchen and into the carpenter shop, where she got a hammer, 2 nails, came back and pounded her anger into the nails and fixed the step. Good use of anger. The truth is, I believe we can decide how and where to use our anger. And I'd like to demonstrate that on a very basic level. Ordinarily, I don't do these kinds of exercises of this nature in a Sunday service, but I can think of no other way to make my point. If you are comfortable, go along with me. I'm going to ask you to shut your eyes. Don't have to if it makes you uncomfortable. It just makes it easier to concentrate. Now get yourself into a comfortable position and take a deep breath. Blow it out to the count of 10. Now, I'd like you to think of something that made you really angry. Something that made you or makes you mad as hell. Maybe it's an injustice that you experienced, or maybe it's something in the current political climate, or something that happened years ago, but it still bothers you. Once you have located it, let yourself remember it, and let yourself feel how you felt then. Now locate it in your body. Maybe it's a feeling of uncomfortable warmth in your neck or your face or the tips of your ears, or a tightness in the pit of your stomach, or a tensing in your neck or your shoulder muscles. Feel it and stay with it. Now that you know where it is, take that feeling and imagine yourself rolling it into a ball and stuffing it into a box and covering it up and setting it down on the pew seat beside you. It'll be there if you need it. You know where it is, but for now, you've identified it, experienced it, and made a choice to set it to one side. Now, with your eyes still closed, take another deep breath. Blow it out to the count of 10. Now I'd like you to think of something that lifts your heart, or someone that lifts your heart and makes you feel good all over. The smell of a baby's hair after a bath, a walk in the woods after the rain, the sound of a river, the memory of your grandfather's pipe tobacco, or the scent of fresh laundry. For some, it's cooking a wonderful meal, or the feel of freshly turned earth in your hands, or knitting. It might be smoothing a lovely piece of wood, or the excitement of a first snow. Once you've identified what that is for you, sit back and let those wonderful thoughts and feelings fill your body. This time, hold on to it. Locate it. Feel the softness in your neck and your shoulders and in your stomach. Enjoy the pace and depth of your breathing. And then when you're ready, open your eyes. If you were able to stay with me with this, you had the experience of locating an angry, ouchy place and really owning it, and then choosing to put it aside. Then, after that, connecting to a peaceful, contented place and letting that feeling come to the surface. Each time you were in control. You were in control of what you thought about and what you chose to do with it. This is not a parlor trick, nor is it a leftover from the touchy-feely 70s. It's a concrete way of connecting with a feeling and examining it, and then deciding what to do with it. As far as that little box of anger goes, the one you just packaged up, it's there. You know where it is. Now ask yourself, how important is it to keep hanging on to it? If it is something that needs to be resolved, then try and find a time and a way to do it. If you can't do it by yourself, then get some help. And hopefully, you can find a way to use that anger energy in a positive way. My house never gets so clean as when I've got a good head of steam built up over something I'm mad about. Maybe you chop wood, clean the car, or dig out the fridge. That's a challenge. That's putting anger energy to good use. Anger is a powerful gut feeling and can be used as a positive, productive source of energy. It can also be negative and destructive, or if turned inward and left resolved, it can turn into depression. It all depends on how you choose to use it and what you do with it. Anger itself is neither bad nor good. Anger simply is. Anger is a passionate response to something that negatively affects you. And passion, responsibly directed, is good. Passion gets things done. Apathy is the opposite of passion and is a death knell to the spirit. People who are good and mad put their outrage to good use in fighting for healthcare reform or marriage equality or doing something about the greenhouse effect. People who are good and mad get up off their collective behinds and make a difference. People who are apathetic don't. They simply don't care. Ralph Nader, remember him? Got good and mad about consumer fraud. The brave people, many Unitarian Universalists among them, who struggled to pass civil rights legislation in the 60s, were good and mad. The suffragettes in the 1920s, who finally won the vote for women, got good and mad. We Unitarian Universalists are not a sanctimonious, pietistic, soul-saving bunch of hymn-slingers content to sit in the pews and keep our vision and our good works to ourselves. We are a gentle, angry people. We are opinionated, loud-mouthed, and passionate about what we believe in and what we advocate. And because of that passion, we are making the world better for everyone, and coincidentally, ourselves. And speaking of ourselves, have you noticed that church people can get mad sometimes? I mean, really, really, really mad, especially in meetings. If we are called to be our best and most fully realized human selves, why do we not always observe that in church? Why do we not support one another in the journey? And why is it that we fight like hell over such seemingly trivial things as the color of the rug in the sanctuary, or trying a different arrangement of seats, or whether or not to recite the Lord's Prayer or read from the Bible in Sunday worship? In other words, a change. Remember the first hymn, Don't Be Afraid of Some Change? A change that didn't come from you. What I have come to know over the years is that in any organization, not just churches, that underneath the sometimes explosive anger that erupts over something that seems trivial is fear. Underneath anger is often fear. Fear that something we are emotionally and spiritually deeply invested in might change into something less comfortable and less familiar. Fear of the unknown, fear of loss, fear of stepping outside the comfort zone is a powerful anger maker, and most of us will fight like heaven to preserve the status quo. Because often, underneath the apparent anger of how and where, for example, we fly our rainbow flag, or where we position the wheelchair ramp, is fear of the unknown. What will happen to this place if we change too much, too fast? Will this still be my spiritual home as I know it? And what will happen to me if it isn't? I've invested a good part of my life in this church. I want to keep it the way it is. Fear of loss, and the anger over that fear is very understandable and very poignantly and powerfully human. So the next time you feel angry, and we all will, before you blow up or bury it, see if you can figure out why you're angry and look then look and see if there might be something else underneath it. If you can figure that out, you have a better chance at choosing how to use the anger energy to generate positive action. In other words, go ahead and get mad. It's okay. I give you all permission. But when you do, make sure you get good and mad. Or, as the beloved and esteemed civil rights activist John Lewis, may he rest in peace, said, "Do not get lost in a sea of despair. Be hopeful, be optimistic. Our struggle is not the struggle of a day, a week, a month, or a year. It is the struggle of a lifetime. Never, ever be afraid to make some noise and get in good trouble. Necessary trouble." May it be so. And may we join together in singing our closing hymn, number 170, "We Are a Gentle, Angry People." Would you please stand as you're willing and able?